But for the purposes of tonight, I am going to lie to you about my age. For the next 5 minutes, I want you to imagine that I am a 7-year-old girl. My name is Ginny, and I'm a 7-year-old girl. I'm a 7-year-old girl who has a difficult secret. For the last year and a half, every Monday night when my mom goes to yoga, my stepfather has been sexually abusing me. This is an ugly secret. It's ugly because it makes me feel bad inside, and it's ugly because I'm 7 years old and I don't even understand why. I keep this secret because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that by telling someone, people will get angry, and I'm afraid I'll get in trouble. My teacher, though, has noticed. She's noticed that I don't go outside to play with my friends. She's noticed that I'm losing weight and that I seem sad all the time. She's nice, my teacher, so she asks me if there's anything wrong. She asks me over and over again, and I keep saying no because I'm afraid of my secret. She asks enough times, though, that eventually I find the courage to be brave enough to whisper the words, "I am not okay." So we have a chat, my teacher and I. She asks enough questions to determine that someone is hurting me. And so she does as she's been trained to do. She makes a call. She calls the ministry. So the ministry will come and they will ask me some questions to determine if it's safe for me to return home. And then they'll call the RCMP. So I'll sit in the back of an RCMP police car and I'll answer a few more questions, but it won't be enough, so I'll be sent to detachment. When I get to the police station, I feel small. Everyone around me is big and kind of scary. I see lots of policemen in uniform, and I wonder if this is where all the bad guys are. Maybe I'm bad. Maybe that's why they made me come here. Maybe I'm bad, and maybe all of this is my fault, and that's why I'm here where the bad guys are. I see a man in handcuffs yelling bad words at a policeman, and there's a woman that smells funny sitting in a chair nearby. And then amongst all of this, I see him, my stepfather. And when he looks at me, I see how angry he is, and now I'm frightened. I'm scared I'm gonna be in trouble, and I'm worried that I was bad, and so I'm quiet. They take me to a clinical, unfriendly room, and they ask me questions that make me feel worse inside, and I don't want to say the answers out loud anymore. The police officer says I'll need a physical exam so they can get evidence, but that can't be done here in Kelowna, so I'll need to go to Kamloops, 2 hours away. In the coming weeks, I'll be required to tell my story as many as a dozen more times to social workers, counselors, doctors, Crown prosecutors, detectives, the list goes on. And each time I speak this horrible truth out loud, I hate myself inside a little bit more. Now I want you to imagine it differently. I want you to imagine that if when my teacher had made that very first phone call, that the phone had rang at the Child Advocacy Center instead. And I want you to imagine that on the other end of that phone call, there was a table. And around that table sat a team of people dedicated to changing my story and to walking me through this story. Imagine that instead of being bounced around from one agency to the next, that instead there was a place that was dedicated to wrapping those services around me and putting my needs at the very center of everything. Imagine that in this place, I need only tell my story once. That warm, friendly place is the Child Advocacy Center of Kelowna, and that is what we are building. Child abuse is a horrible subject matter. Not one of us in this room wants to talk about it. And it lies at the root of so many of the issues that we are starting to talk about. Youth mental health, addiction, homelessness. You will find it there if you dig deep enough. Child abuse. You are closer to it than you probably think you are. I want you to look to your left and to your right. In the province of British Columbia, 1 in 3 children has experienced severe or significant abuse. So look again to your left and to your right. And know that in a room full of our children, one of you is or has been hurt at the hands of an abuser. We have to do better. The Kelowna Foundation is spearheading a campaign to build the Child Advocacy Center of Kelowna, and this project does need your help. Every dollar that we raise will change lives for children impacted by abuse. Every dollar goes toward building a child-friendly place, a place without uniforms and without bad guys, where these children can tell their story in safety, and where the story of child abuse can be challenged and disrupted in our community. There are almost 1,000 CACs operating in communities across North America, but there is not one here. And it is time that we build this resource for the most vulnerable victims of this community. I know that you have a difficult decision to make tonight. Take comfort in knowing you can't make a bad decision, but I want to thank you for the opportunity to stand here tonight in the company of a room full of heroes, and thank you for being committed to making a difference. Just by being here, you're part of a change that our community needs. Thank you.